Good morning, everyone. Welcome to St. Louis Sunday. I'm Jennifer Blome. Every year, more movies are shot away from the bright lights of Hollywood. Filmmakers are taking their shows on the road, and the St. Louis Film Partnership is working to bring them here to our city. This morning, we'll take a look at the film industry in St. Louis and where we hope it's going. My guests today are Carrie Hauk, a local casting director who has worked on films such as King of the Hill and White Palace. Carrie is also a consultant to the St. Louis Film Partnership. Greg Smith is an award-winning local filmmaker. His first feature film, Cover Story, was released this year and has been sold to distributors in over 20 countries. Cal Ward Jr. has been involved in St. Louis theater for nearly 14 years. He recently directed and produced a film called The Rally, and it took third prize in the Black American Cinema Society's African American Independent Filmmakers Competition. Sharon Tucci is president of Talent Plus Incorporated and helps bring filmmakers to our city with her work on the St. Louis Film Partnership. Thank you all very much for joining me today. A lot to say to introduce you all. First of all, Carrie, tell us the mission of the St. Louis Film Partnership and what you hope to accomplish.
Well, we hope to bring more feature film production into St. Louis, and any film production, movies of the week, television, and just, start being able to compete with the other cities that have been doing this for the last 15 years.
Now, you've put together sort of a resume that we will show you at home in just a minute here that features different films. Who do you show this to?
Well, we've been showing it to community leaders and really the community at large to try and increase awareness of what we're trying to do and how the city can benefit financially from more feature film shooting in St. Louis.
I would not think you would have to do a sales job on that. Don't most people want more business in St. Louis, no matter what business it is?
Yes, but I don't think that it's anything that anyone has really thought about up to this point. Our office has been in existence for 7 years, but a lot of the community did not know that we existed except for people involved in production.
Okay, well, in case you did not know that the St. Louis Film Partnership existed, let's take a look at this little resume.
I bought 50 burgers, you gave me 44. Now what's the problem? Do I get my money back or do I go to the manager?
Yo, buddy, listen, I'd like to get my hamburgers.
Just
Will you just leave Mr. Astaire alone? He's trying to report a robbery here.
In 1988, she seduced the screen with the year's sexiest performance in Bull Durham.
You looking for trouble?
Maybe you should take your hand off my thigh.
My hand's not on your thigh.
In 1989, he gave on-screen romance a whole new meaning in Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Just when things seem ordinary or downright hopeless, along comes that unexpected opportunity, right?
Maybe.
Now, Susan Sarandon
I'm 43.
and James Spader
I'm 27.
are about to heat up the 90s.
How'd you meet Max?
Came in for a burger.
How romantic.
She took his order and turned his life
Turn again.
Where?
into chaos.
Who is she?
What if I don't answer that?
Just gonna keep me in some little box and take me out whenever you feel like playing with me.
What is that?
She's a friend of mine. Her name is Nora. You be nice to her mother or I'm gonna beat the hell out of you.
I don't know what's happening to me. I have never wanted a woman as much as I wanted you.
You crazy?
What is he talking about?
He's no spring chicken.
What do you think of our boy?
Say it, please. Nice boy.
Please. I only know that when I'm not with you, I'm a total wreck.
And when you are with me?
I'm a different kind of total wreck.
Right from the start, they were wrong for each other.
In a time of lost innocence in America, Aaron Kurlander was brought face to face with himself.
When are you gonna teach me marbles?
I keep telling you, all the important stuff can't be taught, okay? You just have to learn.
In the tradition of Tom Sawyer, Aaron used the cunning of a child
Hey, you're stepping out a black one.
for the adult task of survival. Marcy Pictures presents King of the Hill, a heartwarming drama of self-discovery, written for the screen and directed by Steven Soderbergh, creator of Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Cut it. For me, it was a film about somebody going through a transformation in a very compressed period of time because of an unusual set of circumstances.
I love it. Outclassed by a street urchin.
A lesson for us all.
To set Aaron's adventures during the Great Depression, director Soderbergh and his crew recreated the look of 1933 on location in St. Louis.
I was talking to my father, actually, about the fact that, you know, everybody looked a little dirty and sweaty and hungry, and he said, good, that's how it was.
There's no question that the depiction of 1933 is taken through Aaron's eyes, and that means that certain things are left out and certain things are focused upon that a kid thinks is important. But that was part of the charm of the story.
Like square.
Now that's an example of what Carrie Hauk, representing the St. Louis Film Partnership, takes around to show to different groups in St. Louis to try to convince them to bring more filmmaking here. How successful are you?
We're working at it. We have a tough road to hoe because we are so very far behind. We need to increase our crew base. We had a few union difficulties that we have very successfully ironed out in the last 6 months. We have terrific locations, which are really our main selling point. We need a sound stage. The city's trying to help us find a building that's no longer in use that we might be able to turn into a soundstage facility, but we just need more of a draw, and that's what we're working to build.
Now, Greg, you've worked as a filmmaker both here in St. Louis and in other cities. What do you think our main problem is for not being able to turn this into a real major business in St. Louis?
Well, I think that a soundstage is definitely a problem. The lack of a film lab, lack of a film-to-video transfer facility. I think that we have certainly the on-camera talent necessary to fulfill secondary roles and extras in abundance. We are still very short on a crew base. Once you get beyond the top level of people here in town, it drops off dramatically.
What about our image and others' perceptions of St. Louis?
Well, I think that for St. Louis to become a real place that people want to shoot, we have to forget about St. Louis identifying the city as St. Louis. Now, the two films that you just saw were literary properties that were set in St. Louis. But for us to really grow, we have to be one of those locations that will work for anybody doing anything. And Cover Story was set in Chicago. We used St. Louis as a double for Chicago. But St. Louis needs, and I think is capable of having that look that will fit into a number of different styles.
Describe for our viewers, sort of give them a synopsis of Cover Story, and then we will show them a short film clip. First of all, is it rated?
It is rated. It is.
We had to edit the film clip. That's why I asked.
It is an R, and we do have some sexual scenes in it. We have some violent scenes in it. It is a film that is designed for limited theatrical release, which is what we had, and primarily for sale in foreign markets. And we have done extremely well in selling in foreign markets. And you need those elements.
How long did it take you to make it?
We had an 18-day shooting schedule, which is exceedingly short.
Wow.
And we shot 6 days a week and averaged somewhere around 15 hours a day shooting.
And then what about for the editing process?
Well, the editing was also done here in St. Louis, and it took me about 3 months since I was the one person editing.
Okay, well, let's give our viewers a look at a film clip, a trailer from Cover Story.
Cover Story.
You feel like you've lost everything.
when even your dreams are gone. Maybe there's nothing left to be said about things like sex.
Nothing to live for. Nothing to lose.
Y'all want to shoot? Light it up.
It might be here drawn to death.
Obsessed with a dead woman he's never met.
You're better off having never known her. She really wasn't a very nice person.
She was crazy. Mean and crazy.
What you want to go messing with a dead girl for? Let me get you some. Won't cost you a dime. They be happy to play like they dead. Most of them do that anyway.
That I could be everything she would have been to you.
Drawn to a vortex of deception and pain.
What do they want?
I don't know. It has to do with Reed, something she took.
Sex, drugs, the whole show. And nobody messes with her, man. Not the Colombians, not the Italians, not the brothers, not nobody.
Dad, are you sure you're not getting involved in something that's way over your head?
You had something of mine, and we would like it back.
Like it, boys.
Obsession that you would risk your manhood.
Looks like you hooked up with the wrong bitch, tough guy.
You can't live with him. You can't live without him.
Wrong, cowboy.
No!
And beneath it all, nothing was real. William Wallace, Tuesday night. Christopher McDonald and Robert Forster.
I read between the lines.
In Cover Story.
Now, Greg Smith just told me that one of those last scenes you just saw was shot in the empty, famous bar in Clayton. Now, you say you've done very well with this film, and yet people watching it have no idea that it was shot in St. Louis.
Hopefully not. For foreign markets, there are only 3 cities that really exist in the United States: New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. And we were shooting in February, and the closest we were going to get was Chicago. So that's why we were set there.
Now, don't you think when a TV show like Miami Vice is so successful that that sort of puts Miami on the map for people here and abroad?
Absolutely. And I think that the more visibility that you can create for a city through a television series like that, I think the more that it helps the entire production community.
So is that what we need here?
I think so. I think that a successful television series that would provide employment for actors and actresses and crew for 26 weeks or so a year would do an enormous amount to build the professionalism of the entire community.
Carrie, you were mentioning that there are plenty of TV shows that have St. Louis in the storyline. They just don't shoot them here.
Right, right. We're hoping, well, we know the John Larroquette show took place in a St. Louis bus station, and they did ask for photographs of our bus station, but I don't think they paid any attention to them. I don't think they have any intention of shooting the opening sequence here. I'm not sure if that show's even picked up, but there's another one premiering in the fall called On Our Own. And they're hoping to come here eventually to shoot a few locations. But right now, they're just building sets out there that look like St. Louis.
We do have a long way to go. Cal Ward Jr., you just won a prize for the rally. It's unusual. Tell our viewers about it.
In 25 words or less? Okay. Well, it works. Hopefully, I feel that it works on several different levels. On one level, it's visually, it's very satirical of the Max Sennett silent farces of the teens in the 20s. And but on another level, there are many things that I think the film comments on as far as racial conflict, as far as social conflict, hypocrisy of religion, corruption of government. And I think I combine all of these things in a 20-minute film so that what you walk away with is a feeling that you can enjoy it on whatever level you choose, as strictly light entertainment or something that doesn't necessarily hit you over the head with any major thought-provoking concepts, but it does give you some things to think about in regards to where we stand racially and socially and economically, and hopefully there are, you know, some cheap laughs there that are effective.
Now, this minute-and-a-half scene that we're about to show is a chase scene. Can you set it up for us a little bit?
In the film, I play a minister. I receive kickbacks from the government I'm going to marry one of the wives of the one of the daughters of the local politician, and I'm invited to appear at his fundraising rally, and I get the addresses messed up, and I wind up at a Klan rally instead. And so in the traditional Max Sennett style, the film ends with a chase through the streets of St. Louis, and there's that flicker grain, and then there's that black and white flicker. Well, you'll see it, but it's also a very twisted branch of the Klan that chooses me as its victim.
Okay, let's take a look at that right now. Now, Cal, tell our viewers where you show the film.
I've had a screening of this and several of my other works at Webster University. I produced the rally with the cooperation of Double Helix Productions, who produce a very excellent television show called Mind Over Television, which spotlights independent works of filmmakers from St. Louis and from all over the country, actually. And now I'm in the process of trying to sell it to cable, trying to find local theaters in town who are interested in screening this and other independent video works by other artists. I feel that I am part of probably the largest contingency of filmmakers in a town like this, and in any town of this size. We are all part of this cultural wave that is happening in our country as a result of all this technology that is being forced on us. And as a result, there are people like me who are experiencing a sense of freedom to express what we want to express, because a certain level of technology that is of a necessarily high level and at a low enough cost is available to us now. So now that I think in the future filmmaking will change dramatically all over the country, and that Hollywood will not be strictly filmmaking will not be strictly the domain of a particular filmmaking community on the West Coast. I think that more and more average people, ordinary people, will be able to understand the ability that they have with the home video cameras that they possess to express themselves through imagery. Before Greg and Carrie were talking about the potential of establishing St. Louis as a city with its own sense of character artistically that will put itself on the map, essentially. I think,
you know, when you say that, it actually reminds me of what happened with modeling in Miami. And Sharon Tucci's name is synonymous with modeling in St. Louis, because there was a time when we mostly thought of New York and Europe as being the place to go for models. What do you think it will take for St. Louis to become sort of a center or a hub for filmmaking?
I think we need to market what we have, what we're strongest in what we have available here in the city. And we have a lot of diversity, and people that do come into our market say it's a best kept secret. They just don't know about it. And we haven't had the funding to be able to have the tools to distribute to the people that are making those decisions for locations.
Do you come across talent in your field who would like to cross over into acting?
Oh, always. I mean, features are the most glamorous. What we have more coming into our area, not necessarily to our city, but our movies of the week, the docudramas kind of thing. And actors will travel to go to those auditions in the Midwest. I mean, they travel all the time to various markets, from Chicago to Omaha, frequently.
But we have plenty right here, too, correct?
Yeah.
Who would be dying to get into a film.
Oh, absolutely. They're based here, you know, so they will go where the action is.
Okay. We need to take a quick break here, but we'll be back with more of St. Louis Sunday in a moment.
Hello, I'm Dan Gray, asking you to volunteer your time at the festival celebration in St. Peter's. It's an effort that will help provide a new women's wellness center and services for the handicapped. Volunteers are needed for setup and cleanup, t-shirt sales, and parking. Just call the Volunteer 5 hotline weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. and help make St. Louis a better place to live.
Volunteer 5, in partnership with Consolidated Communications Long Distance and Lindenwood College, the leader in success.
Dear Nordic Track, 11 years ago, my husband and I realized we had to do something about the way we looked and felt. Frank had high blood pressure. I needed to lose some weight. Our doctor recommended we buy a Nordic Track, and we did. I can't imagine living these past 11 years without it. Frank's blood pressure is down, and both of us lost weight. But the real miracle is how we feel, and all the things we love to do that we never even considered before Nordic Track. So, even though I have wanted to write and thank you for a long time, the real reason for this letter is that I wish to order a Nordic Track for my daughter. She wants to lose a few pounds and feel like her old active self again. You see, she just gave us a beautiful new grandson. And take it from me, nobody's going to need that extra energy more than her.
Call now for your free 30-minute video and 16-page brochure that show you just how easy it is to get started on your lifetime of fitness with Nordic Track. Call now.
Karen Foss, face-to-face with St. Louis Symphony conductor Leonard Slatkin.
The last concert I do here is probably going to be the saddest event.
Dance legend Katherine Dunham.
Dance seems to be an essential part of man's need to grow.
St. Louis University's athletic director Debbie Yao.
For me, when I get upset, I don't get teary anyway, I get angry.
Join Karen Foss as she goes face-to-face Wednesday at 7 on News Channel 5.
Welcome back to St. Louis Sunday. I'm Jennifer Blome. This morning we are talking about filmmaking in St. Louis, and my guests today include local casting director Carrie Hauk, who is also with the St. Louis Film Office, filmmaker Greg Smith, who recently produced and directed Cover Story, filmmaker Cal Ward Jr., whose recent film is called The Rally. It won a prestigious award, and Sharon Tucci, president of Talent Plus Incorporated. Sharon, what are your feelings about the kinds of incentives St. Louis could offer to get more film business here?
Well, I think the incentives could be financial. That's what New York is doing. Canada has done this. Other markets.
Right?
Arkansas is
5% rebate on projects over $1 million.
And Greg, what we were talking earlier about Toronto, how did Toronto turn into such a film center?
Well, I think the Canadian dollar helps, 70 cents as opposed to the American dollar. I think that the Canadian Film Board and its development of talent in Canada has helped enormously. And I think that they have the requirements. They have enormous sound stages, the equal to what are found in Hollywood. They have crews that are exceptional. They have a wonderful talent base. And they have a municipality, a government that is very, very aware of the economic situation and what films can do for that community.
I do think, though, as Sharon mentioned, that where the work is, the workers will follow. You mentioned earlier, Carrie, that we did have a few union problems in St. Louis?
We did in the past, and I think the rumors of those, and it blew way out of proportion, and the word got back to Los Angeles that this was a difficult place to shoot. But we've solved those problems, and we're trying to get the word out to the West Coast that that's something they don't have to worry about anymore.
I mean, I would think it'd be cheaper to live in St. Louis while making a film, to make a film here if we did have the right facilities and equipment, which I guess we don't.
It's very inexpensive to be lodged here. Our hotels in the past have offered really great rates to film crews. There's tremendous employment opportunities for the community. King of the Hill employed 1,900 St. Louisans, White Palace 1,000, and each movie of the week about 500.
That is great. And Cal, what did you say you think should be our biggest selling point?
Well, I mean, it seems as if a lot of what we're discussing is based on a very common argument that occurs in filmmaking, this debate over artistic expression and the business of making money. First of all, I think that any business starts, of any kind, starts with the initiative and the sense of adventurism of the local people who are there who decide to take it on. This applies to filmmaking. Hollywood became a filmmaking capital not because it was Hollywood, but because people went there because the weather was better, and it consolidated into a film industry because the people who lived out there consolidated their talents and their energy and made an industry out of that.
Well, we don't have the weather going for us here, that's for sure.
Well, it just means that our sorts of filmmaking, our kind of filmmaking, St. Louis kind of filmmaking, would have unique characteristics of its own in regards to weather, in regards to the people that live here.
But we do have the people, don't you think?
The talent?
The people, and as Cal is saying,
yes.
people who are passionate about filmmaking and who would like to see it.
We really saw that during the film festival this year, which we aren't a part of, but we try and assist with, you know, we had a seminar that we co-hosted with them, and the seminar was sold out, almost every screening was sold out, and it really, you know, made me realize that there's a huge interest in this town that I didn't know was there until now. And I think our new mayor, somewhat new mayor, he's been in a year now, is a lot very interested in what we're doing and would like to support us in a stronger way than we have been in the past.
If we have viewers who have money and would like to put that behind filmmaking in St. Louis, what should they do? What can they do?
Well, they can support any fundraising efforts that the film office has going. If they
a lot of people don't even know the film office exists. You know, we don't hear about you very much.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do, is to get the word out in the last year. Because that's very true. We're having a fundraiser in July, and we're having a big golf tournament in October to raise money to produce a production guide, which is a very necessary marketing tool that we've never had.
Okay, so people should look out for two fundraisers.
Yeah, we love volunteerism. Any help we can get, we'd really appreciate.
Well, I do know that when films are made here, it seems as though all St. Louisans get very excited about it, whether they're just reading about it in the paper or they are part of it. We are out of time, but thank you all very much for joining me today. It was a lot of fun to see both of your films, and I wish you the best of luck with those. Carrie Hauk and Greg Smith, Cal Ward Jr., and Sharon Tucci, thank you for joining us, and here's hoping for the best for St. Louis for filmmaking. That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Jennifer Blome. Hope you'll join us again next week. See you then.